Us coaster enthusiasts like to make fun of the GP, myself included, but we have to remember that all of us have our moments that make us seem like idiots. Maybe you forgot the name of a ride, or even, should I say it, didn't secure your loose articles. However, I'm not afraid to admit when I act like a total GP, and here's the moments that I've had. By the way, if you're wondering what GP means, it's you. Okay, in all seriousness, it stands for General Public. Starting off with something that wasn't too bad, it's not realizing that there was a single rider lineup for Goliath at Great America. So I walked up to Goliath where they were advertising about a 15-minute wait. Anyway, I got in line. About an hour of waiting went by. Yes, the estimated time was that wrong. And I get up to the top of the stairs. I look to my right, and there's a single rider line with about 10 people standing in it. Next, we have something that wasn't too bad. Trust me, we'll get to some worse stuff later on. The mistake that I made was riding Firebird in the front row. Oh man, I can feel it in my ears just thinking about it. If you don't know, Firebird is one of the worst coasters out there, and if you want the cred, just make sure to ride it in the back. Do not even think about the front. It's terrible. I've never seen a single person come off Firebird in the front row with a smile on their face. I literally had to take an hour break from rides after it. If I just had that one ride, it'd be the worst coaster I've ever been on by a long shot, but the back isn't that bad, so that title is reserved for Twist and Shout. Now we have the thing that when I picture a GP, this is the exact type of thing that I would picture them doing. So I visited Cedar Point in early August of 2018, and they were calling for rain, so the park was basically deserted. That meant that I had time to go on all the coasters and one of my favorite flat rides, antique cars. So I go around the course just like anyone would, and I get back to the station. The rider operator is the one driving at this point because if you've been on an antique car, you know how there's that one pedal at the side of the car that the op uses to bring the cars back into the station? Anyway, he stops the car in the station, so I think that I need to get out. I take one step out, he puts his foot on the gas again, and I end up falling flat on my face. Man, that ride op gave me probably the worst death stare I've ever seen in my life, and I'm just like, well, I thought we were done. This next thing I used to do when I get nervous to go on a certain coaster. That thing is stapling myself, and I'm not talking about on accident, I mean like pushing the lap bar down as far into my lap as possible on purpose. There are really two scenarios that come to mind for me. The first one was on Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. I remember 11-year-old me walking into the park and looking up at the rocket, and I just started shaking. I really don't know why though, because I'd been on Fahrenheit before, which also has a vertical lift. I was just so excited and nervous at the same time, so I immediately hopped on the ride, but for whatever reason jammed my restraint down as far as possible. It was also the same kind of thing when I rode Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. In case you're wondering, I was a GP when I went to Cedar Point. I liked coasters at the time, but I became a true enthusiast almost immediately after the trip. My next GP moment is not being able to find the entrance to various rides. The main two that come to mind are American Eagle and the Boss. When I was at Great America, I probably wasted about 15 minutes of my limited time just walking up and down trying to find the entrance to the Eagle. I knew exactly where the coaster was, because how could you not see it? But I just couldn't find the entrance. The map was also no help because usually parks will put the logo next to where the entrance is, but the logo on the Great America map was nowhere near the actual entrance of American Eagle. At least the coaster was a lot of fun though. I think I have an excuse for not being able to find the American Eagle sign, but I got nothing for the Boss. The ride has a massive entrance sign, so I don't know how I can miss it. I guess that the big problem though was I had just been to Screaming Eagle to see if it had reopened because it had been down all day. There was a big amphitheater in the way between Screaming Eagle and Boss. I couldn't really figure out how to get around it. Much like American Eagle, the ride made up for it though. I know I've talked about this in a previous video, so I'm going to keep it nice and short, but during my 2016 and most recent visit to Hershey Park, I didn't ride Skyrush. Hopefully, I can get to the park this year and get the only credit that I missed at Hershey Park. In 2017, my family and I were going up to northwest Wisconsin to visit some of my family that lives up there. My dad was asking if there's anything specific that I wanted to do while we were up there. I knew that I wanted to go to some sort of amusement park. Of course, this was before I became an enthusiast, so I went on the computer to look up what amusement parks there were in that area, and somehow the only thing that I found was Nickelodeon Universe. I did not come across Valley Fair, the larger, superior park. That meant that I thought the Nickelodeon Universe, the definition of mediocrity, was the only park in the Twin Cities / middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. Of course, I told my dad that I wanted to go to Nickelodeon Universe, so we went there, not Valley Fair, which I'm sure would have been the much better park. This one I've also talked about in previous videos, so I'm not going to keep it short. Somehow, someway, I did not know that there were 2 Dragon Challenge coasters at Universal Studios Orlando. Even after riding Hungarian Hortail, an entirely blue coaster, and seeing that red track, it never occurred to me that there was more than one coaster there. This is why I have the credit for only Hungarian Hortail, and I will never get that Chinese Fireball. Alright, here we go guys, the last GP moment, and I think that I saved the best for last. Get this, for a good 3 years straight of visiting the park, I believe Sidewinder, yes, Sidewinder, the Vekoma Boomerang, to be the best roller coaster at Hershey Park. I'm sure that if I really tried, I'd get some footage of me calling it the best coaster in the park, but I'm too lazy to do that. This is also why I have a bit of a soft spot for Vekoma Boomers. Let me just put this into perspective. I rode Great Bear for the first time in 2014. In 2014, my coaster count was at 18, and the number 1 was a Vekoma Boomer. Thanks for watching this video. Remember to leave your thoughts, suggestions, and video ideas in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later.